I know I've been talking about the simulation a lot, and let me say this. For me, the simulation will be good. Why? Because my kids are about to be raised, and um, I don't have that family structure type of deal, right? So it's good for me. But let me tell you something. If you're trying to raise a family, like I told my kids, if they want to raise a family and they want to have kids, first they need to find themselves a good woman. Well, first they got to make sure that they can provide. That's number one. Number two, find yourself a good woman. Number three, go and live in a rural setting and a rural community. You don't want to raise kids in this city. You know, they don't need. This society is very. It's changed a lot. What they allow to be talked about in the mainstream media and shown and all of that, and there's just no it there's not a lot of values nowadays, right? So what I would say, if you want to have kids in a family, do it like that. And you want to try to get into a small community where it might be a boring thing, but with the you can use the technology to educate your kids for sure. um that I talk about, the technology that's coming out, and you can use it just for that, at all, just for that, and just have have your family type of deal. For me, I'm excited for the simulation, because think about this. I'm living in a time where these females expect me to be a certain way, expect me to be my absolute best, when they bring nothing but their absolute worst to the situation. Um, I'm supposed to take leftover women. I'm supposed to be content with a fat, out of shape woman that has a couple of kids that still need to be raised, and I have to provide for these people and be put last. Oh, I'm noble. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. For these females, they need to go back to the man that they had the kids with. That's what I think. They shouldn't have left them to begin with. What people need to understand about is America is full of a bunch of broken people. I mean, that's what we really are. You look around, you see all these people that are overweight, you see all these people that are on drugs. It's because their childhood has been so they come from a toxic childhood, right? They weren't raised in a good community. They weren't raised in a good family. Most people probably come from broken homes, and that has a big impact on a person's psyche and their subconscious when they get to be an adult. I fight a lot of demons myself, and uh, a lot of hardships and struggles to try to perpetuate myself into a better man, and I'm only doing it for myself, and to be a good example for my kids. Like, that's something too. Is I told them that they had a better childhood than me, slightly, just because they have a good man in their life and a good example, right? I didn't have the worst childhood. I'm not gonna sit out here and say like I missed meals. I was homeless. I was sexually abused and stuff like that. I never had anything to that extreme. But the lack of, I think, the family and then the support. People always, I I always was told, like, oh, like, happy birthday, you get sent cards and stuff like that, and money in the mail when you were a kid, and that stuff is very good and it makes the kid feel good. But it's just, I never felt a connection with any of my family, my grandpa, my aunts and uncles, and I never felt like a strong connection because everybody was so far apart from each other. I don't even think I felt that good, that strong of a connection with my own parents. Um, so that's what I think a lot of people struggle with, right? And then they turn to addictions and stuff like that. So this video is everywhere. There's not like a specific topic that I'm gonna stick with. Pretty much, if you're watching my videos, you know this. It's kind of interesting to me. I really take in. So let me say the Bible is cool. I like the Bible. I don't like the concept of how people interpret it and what they do from it, but I like the concept of it. I think it's a very positive thing. I think it's a very good thing. Um, but I do like to keep my mind open. I do like to keep my mind open to different situations. In the simulation theory, I was listening to this guy talk about, we could just be AI. We could just be artificial intelligence in this simulation. Um, and what's kind of weird is I never heard anybody talk about this, but I remember when I was a kid, I can kind of like close my eyes. I can look at somebody and then I can kind of like be in their situation, almost be in their shoes. You know, I did it today at the gym, and I was just like, I was working out and I seen somebody and I kind of just like put myself how it would be in their position, right? I was like kind of in their kind of like in their body in a simulated manner, right? I know it sounds weird. I know, but for like a moment, I can kind of get an idea of what's going on. Not a psychic thing, but it's just a weird thing, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with you know if the simulation is true and we're just like all a collective consciousness. I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. So I like to keep my mind open. And I know it sounds crazy, and I know, but it's kind of interesting to me how some of the smartest people on our planet saying that it's a big probability that we are in a simulation. I don't know. I don't know if we are. I don't have any proof. Nobody has any proof. No one's come out with some really hard facts that we're in a simulation or that there's a heaven and there's a heaven and a hell. I definitely believe in a creator. I really do. I believe that there's a creator, and I also think that there's other life out there somewhere. Whether it's in a different dimension or what, whether that's a demons or angels, I think that there's more going on than we actually know about. What's actually presented to us in the 3D reality. I think it's intriguing. And it's something to think about, right? It's just something to think about that it is possible that we're like in a human type of simulation, right? You know, technology is just going so quickly. Let me say something cool. Let me say something like let me end this on like a positive note. I mean, remember when you were a kid, or some people might still, when they're older, have crushes and stuff. I really don't have crushes. I have, there's people I'm attracted to or whatever. But when I was younger, I liked Jessica Alba. I really liked Jessica Alba, and I really liked Scarlett Johansson. Those ones stuck out. And then there was some female musicians that I like Yasmin Bleeth. I really liked her too. Everyone liked, Pamela Anderson. And yeah, she was hot, but it's just, you know, I'm the type of guy that doesn't go with the flock. Everybody liked Jordan. I like Sean Kemp. It's kind of, it's just like everyone liked Shaq, and I like Sean Kemp. You know what I mean? Everyone liked, I don't know, Barry Bonds. I like King Griffey Jr. I kind of like. I'm different. I like to be a little bit different from everybody. But in the simulation, think about this. People are gonna have relationships with robots. Uh, they already kind of do. There's people that are actually marrying dolls. Now, can you imagine being in a simulation, right? You know, the simulation is we might not ever be able to get into the simulation where you can actually feel like you're actually there. Maybe they do. Maybe they could tap our central nervous system, so we don't need a full bodysuit to feel everything. They can do something where we can feel things, make it feel exactly how the 3D reality is. But could you imagine being in a simulation, and you create a world, or you create, like you create a house or whatever, and you know you're you could be in a relationship with Marilyn Monroe. I mean, they could make people very simulated, and then you can kind of go on adventures with them, live a life with them, or multiple ones, like the ones I was talking about. Like, I could be in a relationship with Jessica Alba, go and do fun things in the simulation, and if I get bored with her, go to another one. And it's just crazy to think about that, like Cleopatra or something, like going back in a time and being in a simulation, and it seeming like it's so real. And it'll go for females too, but I think it's gonna be a little bit different because I don't know. Usually females were attractive with their emotions, but it's just really crazy to think about that you can that you know you're not gonna have to settle for an average person. This is why I think people are gonna be in the simulation very shortly. They're gonna be in there, and they're gonna be able to make money. I think in 10 years, if we continue on this trajectory of all these technologies coming out, like, I don't think the average person understands the technologies that have been made, that are being produced right now. The possibilities of these technologies is mind blowing. The acceleration of AI, the singularity, when AI passes us, and they have a better intelligence than us, and a superior intelligence, like we won't even be able to fathom whatever kind of intelligence that they can even have. Much like an ant can, they have no idea what our intelligence is, right? I think we'll probably be like kind of like a pet, kind of like a dog to them, maybe. Like, they see intelligence in us, and they see some cool stuff, right? You have a relationship with your dog, right? Where the dog does fun things. The dog, playfulness shows intelligence, and maybe we could humor the artificial intelligence, and that's why they wouldn't get rid of us, because they would see, like, we're kind of entertaining, um but I think it'd be cool, like, to have, to go out, and you'll be able to, when I'm playing these worlds, like I was playing, like, I like to play Madden and stuff like that. I like to play my own, like, seasons and stuff, and kind of like a simulation. And then I was playing this one game where I'm on a desert island all by myself, and it's all about survival. So once you get when I played Minecraft, I did this a lot too. Once you get all the resources, and you're good and you're sustained, much like um these people who do these outdoor, survivalist type of stuff, shows where they have to build everything and be out there for a certain amount of time. I forgot what the one was called, but you know, you get bored, right? You start out, everything's, you start out with nothing, and you start building it up. You build a house, you build this, you got enough food, and you got everything, and then it's just like, okay, now what? The simulations like that, and so that's like real life too. You lose purpose because you're by yourself. Well, in the simulation thing, you can be able to be with other people. When I'm playing, like I said, I'm playing these games, I get bored because I don't have that interaction. I don't have that interaction with somebody else. I think that's why online gaming is so big, is because people have the online, they have the interaction. Like with my kids, we've moved a few times and they still talk to their friends and they can still do stuff with their friends and be in the sim. Like that's a simulation, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of good things, and I don't mind them playing video games a lot because they get to interact with their friends. Um, I shouldn't have moved away. So that's kind of cool that they can still be in contact with their friends, right? And then maybe it's just there's a lot of good things that can happen. But like I said, if you're trying to raise a family, probably not the best thing to get into, you know. Um, but if you're a single person like myself, and I don't plan on ever getting married or having a girlfriend, maybe if this is a simulation or God says so, they'll bring me somebody, and bring me somebody that I feel is worthwhile for me to go ahead and start investing in, and trusting that my investment is not going to be just thrown away, right? So um it's very interesting, and I hope whoever watches this brings some kind of thought process and some things like that. And that's what I like to do. I like to bring awareness, and yeah.